Kia ora koutou katoa, nau mai hara mai ki te ao Hākinakina, your sports show right here on your Tribal Pulse te Koremaka o Taranaki 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. Well, she's risen up the ranks in recent times and has the world at her feet, hailing from right here in Taranaki, but now residing in Melbourne. She's one of the best young tennis superstars coming out of Aotearoa at the moment, and we're very blessed to have her here on the show with us. Monique Barry, no mai hara mai.
Hi.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Hey, awesome to have you on the show. I know you're tuning in from over there in Australia, and we're very blessed to have you on the show back here at home. But hey, before we get started, ko wai koe, no he koe, just a bit about yourself and where you're from.
So I was born in Taranaki, New Plymouth, and I was also in Waitara as well because my parents were in the police in Waitara, and my mum is Māori and dad is from Auckland. And I grew up in Australia playing tennis. So that's a little bit about me, but I have a lot of family from New Zealand, and I love coming back to see them and where I was brought up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, you said you were born over here in New Plymouth, and then you moved, I think, was it 4 years of age over to Queensland with your whānau. And then you've now you base yourself in Melbourne. Tell us a little bit about this journey as a young girl and moving over to Australia and then down to Melbourne.
So we've done a lot of moving. So when we moved to Australia, we were in the Gold Coast for about 5 years. So mum and dad wanted to move just for the weather purposes. And we were meant to get into athletics. So we got there and it was actually the wrong season. So when we were driving back along the same road, there was like little kids playing tennis. And I was like, oh my God, like what's that? And I stepped out of the car and I was just up against the fence watching them play. And that's kind of how it all started. They gave me a racket and we started from there. And then I've also moved to Perth for 5 years, which is where most of my family also is. And then we moved to Melbourne when I was about 14. So I've been there ever since. So it's been a lot going on, but I've always been playing tennis and in different spots. So I'm pretty used to traveling now.
That's awesome. So you've been all around Australia on the move. So awesome. Some beautiful spots. Yeah, I've lived in some of those places, so know them very, very well. Now, you mentioned athletics when you were younger. So has it always been tennis, or was there any other sports that you kind of dabbled in and had a go at?
Well, as a kid, like in primary school, I did love playing touch footy, any type of footy, but it's always been tennis. That was always my dominant sport that I was into, but I was always wanting to play something like rugby because it's obviously in my genes. Luke McAllister is my cousin, the McAllister family, so I really feel like rugby is also in my blood, but unfortunately, I've just been playing tennis and I've also been doing pretty well at that as well.
Nothing wrong with tennis. Great sport, but awesome to have those genes as well. Those some pretty awesome sportsmen and women in the McAllister whānau. So, what is it? What is it about tennis that you love?
I love that you have to figure it out on your own. So I think it's very underrated with how tough the sport actually is, and it's a love-hate for sure. You're competing, you're trying to be your best every day. There's no end. Like you can choose on your own when you want to end tennis. But just competing and traveling the world is pretty amazing. You see some awesome things and meet some amazing people as well.
Awesome. So when was it that you started and such an awesome memory of you being on the fence and looking in and then following that kind of sport, but when was it that you kind of started to realize that, hey, actually I'm not bad at this and I might be able to have a career in the sport?
I think from a young age I was one of the top juniors. From 9 years old I started to travel across Australia, and then when I was about 13 I started traveling overseas. So I think maybe when I was about 17, 18, that's when I started to realize this is going to be my main career, because as a kid you don't really know what's going on, and especially because it's a lonely independent sport, and then as an adult you have to make your own decisions for that. Also an independent sport, so I would say around 17, 18 I was like, okay, this is going to be the career, because most girls stop before turning 18. So yeah, I'd say around then.
Awesome. Well, you've gone on to some pretty awesome things since then. Now, I heard you were named New Zealand Tennis Player of the Year in 2022, 2023. This was after winning your first doubles title on the ITF Women's World Tennis Tour in 2022. That was in Caloundra, I believe, in Australia. And then a second title in Thailand. This must have been a massive few years for you in 2022 and 23.
Yeah, so that was definitely a turning point because of obviously COVID, and I didn't get to really play tournaments for about 1 to 2 years, which was pretty crucial for an 18 to 20-year-old. So being able to get back out there for those 2 years, and I've had quite a few doubles titles under my belt. And last year I had probably my best singles results based as well, like getting into quarterfinals, semifinals, and also doubles as well. I've been pretty happy with my progress and my rankings, so I'm hoping to keep that going.
Nice. And I also see you've represented New Zealand in 2023 in the Billie Jean King Cup, playing doubles alongside Vivian Yang. So you beat Malaysia. This must have been cool, representing your country.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I got to play last year as well, so I played 2 years in a row. Unfortunately, the first year I was a little bit injured, so I wasn't able to play singles. Last year I was able to play singles and win my first Fed Cup match, so that was really, really awesome to do for my country. And there's nothing better. There's nothing better than representing your country. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that.
Nice. Now, in December 2023, you won the wild card playoff match at the ASB Tennis Arena in Auckland to earn a debut on the WTA Tour at the 2024 Auckland Open, where you lost in the first round, I believe. But from there, you've gone from strength to strength, and you've played more than 30 tournaments in 2024. Is that right? That's crazy.
Yeah. That was probably my biggest year ever on tour, because I really just wanted to go for it and see what I'm capable of being able to play physically, mentally, what I can go in for this year, whether I want to keep the quantity low and keep the quality high. So the following year, when I got to play my debut in Auckland, that was probably the best moment in my career. I played really well on the main stage, and then this last year, that's in December, that's just gone by, we had another playoff. I lost in semis to Elise in a really tight match, and all the girls are really, really good. We're all around the same level, and anyone can beat anyone on the day. And then I had another good run at the ASB again in qualies, and I got to win a match and also doubles. So I was really proud of that after playing over 30 tournaments, because I was pretty burnt out. But yeah, definitely won't be doing that again.
30 tournaments, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see you at the recent ASB Classic, so that's really awesome too. Now your bro Davey Martin tells me you've won hundreds of games and tournaments and have a number of trophies, the same number of trophies at home. You must be extremely proud of the whole tennis journey thus far.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we don't really get as many trophies anymore. They're normally checks, so I'm okay with that. But mum and dad still have like all my trophies in a cabinet hidden somewhere. So yeah, I'm really proud of the progress. Sometimes you don't get to really stop and think about how well you've come and how far you've come as well. But yeah, when you definitely think about it, you just realize it is going upwards, and even if it's not, that's okay as well.
Now you've had a career high singles ranking of world, I think you're world number 504 at the moment, which was reached late last year, and career high doubles ranking of 366. So how do the rankings kind of work, and have you got any kind of targets in 2025 and beyond on where you'd like to see yourself?
Yeah, so at the moment, my singles is 470 now inside the top 500, and the doubles is 304. So my goals last year were to be in top 450 singles and doubles top 350. So I've been pretty close or gone above it. And then this year, I really want to take a jump and try and get inside top 250 for both, and try and have a really strong year. Some quality tournaments. It only takes a couple of weeks, like 2 good weeks, and you could be inside top 300. But it's just that the competition is so strong, especially overseas. Those girls in Europe are so close to everything, even money wise, like traveling from Australia, New Zealand. It's really tough to manage your finances trying to travel all the way over there, and obviously our dollar isn't as strong as the US or euros, so we really have to choose where we want to go, whether that's Asia because it's a little bit cheaper, but with that you just have to keep winning to get your ranking up. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, sorry, I got that wrong,
No,
man.
that's okay.
You moved up the ranks pretty quickly there, which is awesome to see. And you mentioned the travel component, obviously huge travel component with tennis, with tournaments all over the world. Is there any way like sponsors or whānau, whether that be abroad in Australia or even back here at home, might be able to support you on this journey, in terms of that financial support and sponsorship?
Yeah, it's really hard to find sponsorships. I have my head sponsor and Elite 11, so that's my clothing and my rackets, bags, travel bags and string. But now it's mainly the traveling that I would definitely need help for, and I'm trying to look for sponsors at the moment to help me travel. Otherwise, that means I would have to go and play specifically money tournaments throughout the year and sacrifice my professional tournaments where I can get points for my ranking, so then be able to travel for that. So that's sort of how it works. Most of us are really grinding or trying to do coaching on the side, hitting sessions to get paid, play other tournaments that won't really help our ranking itself, but just to get that money to travel. So yeah, definitely looking out for some sponsors, if possible, to help out. Any bit helps. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Well, there we have it, whānau. Any of our whānau out there listening in, we got an amazing young Māori wahine here, right from here, Taranaki Maunga, that's right, that's looking for some support to go worldwide, whānau. So, yeah, make sure you touch base with Monique or myself, and I can put you on to Monique for any of our sponsors out there. Now, lastly, if there was a young aspiring tennis player back here in Taranaki, young kōtiro or young tama, at the Waitara Tennis Club or in New Plymouth, what kind of advice would you give them to pursue their dream in the sport?
I think for them to just go for it, believe in themselves, and don't be afraid to really commit, give 100%, because if you don't, you're not going to fully know your potential. Don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to get uncomfortable. So I think that's really important for self-development as well. Character building, like you're always going to keep growing, and also just do what really makes you happy. That's my main advice.
Wow, awesome advice there too, Monique. Well, hey, on behalf of all of us here in Taranaki, we're extremely proud of all the mahi that you're doing out in the tennis world. And just know that all of us back here are shouting for you and cheering you on and hoping you do well in this year and the years to come. And thanks so much for jumping on the show and having a kōrero with us.
Thanks so much. Thanks so